The worst thing that has happened to the Lakers over the last 7-8 years has been LeBron James.
Wow.
Okay.
Podcast co-host as the head coach of your organization, a person who has never had any coaching experience ever, to appease him as well. And he's not a good coach. But for whatever reason, JJ Redick ducks all smoke. Why does JJ Redick not get smoked for not being a good coach?
How do we know that he's not a good coach?
Because they don't win. That's why.
The Los Angeles Lakers are falling apart, and media voice Charlemagne the God says there's one main reason the purple and gold are spiraling. LeBron James, yes, that LeBron, the so-called king, the man who delivered a 2020 title to LA, a four-time NBA champion who's usually treated like he's above criticism. But Charlemagne flipped the script and called him the worst thing to hit this franchise in almost 10 years. That's not small talk, that's a direct shot. He's not speaking on ticket sales or jersey numbers. He's not worried about online hype. He's talking about wins, real basketball, building something that lasts. The 2020 championship inside the bubble was legit. Nobody can erase that. But what happened after? The Russell Westbrook trade turned into chaos, early playoff exits, a brutal 33-49 season that didn't even reach the postseason. And now the team feels stuck, shaped around the needs of a veteran superstar and his powerful agency, Clutch Sports Group. That's where the pressure really builds. Then there's the situation with Bronny James. Nobody is attacking a father wanting to share the league with his son. That story is special. It means something. But this is the Lakers, one of the most historic teams in sports. You can't let emotion guide roster choices.
The worst thing that has happened to the Lakers over the last 7-8 years has been LeBron James.
Wow.
Okay.
LeBron James got Bronny James drafted, right? Which is great. It's a great story as a father and everything else. But when you're talking about basketball business, it wasn't good for the business of basketball, especially for the Lakers organization, right? That's number one.
They used a second-round pick on Bronny. Could that slot have gone to someone ready to help win right now? Many believe yes. Instead, critics say it looks like favoritism and weak leadership. And it doesn't stop there. Reports from ESPN claim owner Jeannie Buss has grown frustrated with how much influence LeBron holds inside the organization. When ownership feels boxed in, that's a serious red flag. The report claims Jeannie Buss has privately voiced frustration over what she sees as LeBron's massive ego and the tight grip Clutch Sports Group holds on Lakers' decisions. Sources say the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers is tired of the idea that LeBron James saved the franchise. She reportedly doesn't like the story that LeBron chose the Lakers instead of the Lakers front office making a smart, strategic move to sign him. And what really stings? The control, the influence, the power behind the scenes that allegedly shape key decisions, and not always for the better. Take the Russell Westbrook trade in 2021.
Jeannie privately grumbled, people close to the team say, about what she felt was James' outsized ego and the overt control that he and Clutch Sports, which represents both James and Anthony,
They do have that,
exerted over the organization at times. She didn't like that James was considered a savior. You hired LeBron James's podcast co-host as the head coach of your organization, a person who has never had any coaching experience ever, to appease him as well. And he's not a good coach. But for whatever reason, JJ Redick ducks all smoke. Why does JJ Redick not get smoked for not being a good coach?
How do we know that he's not a good coach?
Because they don't win. That's why.
The roster was flipped upside down to bring him in. Reports at the time suggested the move was heavily supported by LeBron and his camp. The outcome, a brutal 33-49 season and no playoffs, total collapse. And when it failed, critics say LeBron distanced himself from the deal, leaving management to absorb the blame. That pattern feels familiar. When it works, he's praised as a mastermind. When it flops, it's suddenly someone else's mistake. But the situation that really sparked debate was the hiring of JJ Redick as head coach. This is where Charlemagne's criticism got loud. Think about it. The Lakers, a franchise once led by icons like Phil Jackson and Pat Riley, chose a first-time coach whose biggest connection to the team was hosting a podcast with LeBron. Redick had never coached high school, college, or even served as an NBA assistant. Zero experience on the sidelines.
He had Anthony Davis. Now he's got LeBron. He's got Luka. He's got Austin Reeves. Like, what are we talking about here?
They gave him the keys, obviously, and that's something he wanted. I imagine Cleveland, that's something he wanted. I don't think he was getting that when he was in Miami, and I think that there was some frustration about that.
Mm-hmm.
And
if I was the Lakers, I would probably be targeting the Memphis Grizzlies as a trade partner.
And Reeves.
This comes with a very unemotional attachment because Austin is beloved, which he should be.
But he's about to get
he's
paid.
He's an underdog. And here's the thing. If There's a world where you can do what's best for your team and do what's best for Austin.
Yet somehow, the pressure hasn't landed on him. The team has looked average at best under his leadership, but most of the criticism has gone toward Bronny, a second-round pick who was never meant to carry a franchise. Meanwhile, the head coach, the man in charge of strategy and development, barely feels the heat. That imbalance raises real questions. Why? Because going at JJ Redick really means going at LeBron James. And in today's NBA world, that's almost untouchable territory. Charlemagne's message is clear. This was a LeBron-backed hire. This is influence in action. And when one player holds that much sway, even a legend, the balance inside the building starts to crack. Look back at Miami. With the Miami Heat, Pat Riley ran the show with total authority. The Heat had structure, identity, a culture bigger than any star. LeBron won 2 rings there, no doubt. But reports have long said part of his exit came from wanting more, say, than Riley was willing to hand over. That tells you everything.
In 2018-2019, he's reached the playoffs 4 times. 2019-20 NBA champions, 2020-21 first-round exit, 22-23 conference finals, 23-24 first-round exit, 24-25 first-round exit. I didn't even know they made the play. I thought they were playing in the fucking tournaments those times.
In Cleveland and with the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron reportedly had more input. Yes, championships followed in both cities, but after the banners were raised, things got shaky. Rosters stripped for win-now moves, draft assets moved around, front offices adjusting to one voice instead of building steady, long-term plans. That kind of setup rarely stays smooth for long. Then the spotlight shifted to Rich Paul, LeBron's longtime agent and close friend. On his podcast, he openly floated the idea of trading Austin Reeves for Jaren Jackson Jr. That sparked tension instantly. It raised real questions about boundaries. If you're Reeves, how do you react hearing your teammate's agent publicly suggesting your exit? If you're a young player thinking about signing with Rich Paul, do you feel secure knowing comments like that can hit the airwaves? Those are serious optics. But here's the deeper layer. Some believe these public comments are happening because the private influence isn't as strong as it once was. Ownership dynamics have shifted. The current leadership reportedly isn't ready to reshape everything for a 40-year-old star, no matter his legacy. So pressure moves to the public stage. Media talk, strategic messaging, and that's the instability Charlemagne keeps pointing at.
The choices for the team come from management. So example, like the general managers, if they're involved in the actual team and the gameplay, they'll tell the coaches what type of plays they're going to run, what type of offense, what type of defense, and the coach will execute that.
We probably do need to move on from Bron right now. I love the guy, you know what I mean? But we need to move on from him. He's a man out of time.
For most teams, this situation might slide, but this is the Los Angeles Lakers. This franchise doesn't celebrate first-round exits. It demands banners hanging from the rafters. This legacy was built by giants like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant. These were players who didn't just show up. They took over. They stacked championships. They made the Lakers the gold standard of the NBA. LeBron James delivered 1 title in 7 seasons. Respect for that ring. But since then, limited draft assets, an aging core, and a culture many critics say leans too far into pleasing one superstar instead of building long-term dominance. That's a heavy shift for a franchise built on dynasty energy. Charlemagne also pointed out something that hits hard. In LA, 1 ring isn't the finish line. Shaq won 3, Magic won 5, Kareem won 5. The expectation isn't just success, it's eras of control. LeBron brought 1 championship. Now, with his 41st birthday approaching, the Lakers feel stuck in the middle. Not terrible enough to tear it down, not strong enough to scare contenders, and hesitant to face the tough reality of moving on from a legend past his peak. Then there's JJ Redick. He's in a tight spot. How does a coach openly question the player who helped him land the job? If analytics suggest decline, can he even say it? That's a tricky dynamic. When your authority is linked to one superstar, independence fades fast. And here's the truth nobody likes to admit. LeBron at 40 is not LeBron at 30. He's still skilled. He can still drop big numbers on any night. But carrying a team through 4 playoff rounds like he once did, that version is history. Time catches everyone, even the king. The Los Angeles Lakers need to think long-term. They have to grow young pieces like Austin Reeves and make moves that protect the next 10 years, not just chase one more quick run. But as long as LeBron James is on the roster, and as long as Clutch Sports Group carries major influence, critics believe the team will keep pushing all-in moves that sacrifice tomorrow for today. That cycle feels risky. This isn't about denying LeBron's greatness. It's about facing how the organization operates. The Lakers gave him rare influence. They backed his preferences. They brought in players connected to him, drafted his son, and adjusted direction around his vision. The result? 1 championship. And a lot of instability since. Compare that to the final stretch of Kobe Bryant. When Kobe's career slowed down, the Lakers hit rock bottom. They struggled badly, but they rebuilt through the draft. They stacked young talent. They reset the foundation instead of bending every move around one aging star. Kobe was iconic, but the franchise still focused on the bigger picture. With LeBron, many feel the power balance shifted. The player became central to nearly every decision. That might maintain short-term harmony, but it hasn't produced steady dominance. Reports from ESPN suggest Jeannie Buss has grown frustrated. That could signal change. Maybe leadership is ready to regain control and prioritize what benefits the franchise long-term, or maybe they stay the course. More aggressive win-now trades, more short-range thinking. Another season built around keeping a legend comfortable instead of shaping the future. And when LeBron eventually steps away, what remains? An older roster and limited flexibility. Charlemagne the God called LeBron the worst thing to happen to the Lakers in the past 7 or 8 years. That's a blazing statement. It sparks arguments instantly. But when you stack up the uneven roster moves, the failed experiments, and the lack of sustained dominance, the conversation becomes harder to dismiss. Maybe it doesn't sound so wild after all. The Los Angeles Lakers look unstable, and critics say LeBron James has been central to that chaos. The real question is simple. Will the Lakers take back control or keep shaping their future around a 40-year-old legend? Based on recent history, big change feels unlikely. This era may be remembered for unrealized potential as much as that single championship. One ring, plenty of tension, and a franchise still searching for direction. Charlemagne the God said what many fans whisper but rarely say out loud. If you rock with this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and share your take below.